Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Locke. He is Luis Barranco. It is our Athletics season preview episode. Luis, a lot of optimism again around this team. How you feeling?
I mean, I will be at one of the games this year. I am planning on going to Sacramento and seeing the minor league ballpark that is Sutter Health Field. I'm very excited to see this team this year. There's a lot of positivity around this team. And I think this team is. I talked about them yesterday, and on the Pirates. This is going to be probably the trendiest pick, and this pick is probably going to be too trendy to be one of the surprises of the year. I'd like to say. They're going to be too popular for me. I'm a fan of them, but I feel like everybody's going to hop on this bandwagon.
Yeah, that's the thing with the A's is it was there last year, and they went 76 and 86, finished fourth in the AL West. They were good last season. They were never really in the playoff mix, but heading into last season, people had them as they could sneak in for that third wild card. I think we're going to see that again this season with the over-under being 75.5. So basically, if you take the over there, you're saying they're going to be as good as they were last season. Last year, the win total was 71.5. Their offseason was mostly surrounded around their extensions. They extended Tyler Soderstrom and Jacob Wilson. Nick Kurtz is still TBD. They need to give him some cash. Soderstrom was 7 years, 86. Jacob Wilson was 7 years, 70. They also acquired Jeff McNeil via trade for some single A pitcher that no one's ever heard of, Yordan Rodriguez. Who knows? Maybe he turns into the next Jacob deGrom. I doubt that. They also signed Mark Leiter Jr., Scott Barlow, and Aaron Savale, all on 1 year deals, $3 million, $2 million, and $6 million respectively. So interesting offseason. They continue to try to lock up that young core. Lawrence Butler's on an extension. Brent Rooker's on an extension. There's reason for optimism. Leo DeVries in the minor leagues. There's a lot to talk about. I do think there is some cautious. I have caution with this team because so many people are picking them as the trendy playoff pick, like you said.
Well, my thing with this team is I love the talent. I think we're all fans of the talent and how they're managed. I mean, their farm system is pretty nice. I think the biggest question with this team is, do they have the pitching to match the offensive firepower? I mean,
yep.
we are Brent Rooker guys. We do enjoy Brent Rooker as a player. We do feel like he's that perfect fit for that locker room. And, they have Lawrence Butler. I'm a fan of Lawrence Butler. His bat slowly got better throughout the season last year. Nick Kurtz, Nick Kurtz might be the best first baseman in all of Major League Baseball next season. He could become that. And that's where I think a lot of this, a lot of these picks come from. And I think we're falling in love with the pick of them with the potential. They have the potential to be the second best team in the AL West. That's totally true. Mm-hmm. But the thing is they have to get there, and we haven't. We have to see it. Yes, we see the glimpses of these players becoming really good, but what do we have right now with the information that we have right now? I mean, they're a good team, but they need to get there, and that's my thing. They need to get to that spot, and they need to see that improvement from guys like Kurtz, Langoliers, Soderstrom, Wilson, Butler. They need to take that next step as a team. And the pitching also needs to improve.
One of the more interesting storylines across the whole sport this season for me is what Nick Kurtz does in his sophomore season. He was one of the best rookie seasons ever. What does he do in year two? Now that pitchers have, had a whole offseason to make adjustments on how to pitch to the guy, the big Amish. I'm excited to see that. Very excited. Shea Langoliers, one of the better catchers hitting-wise in the league. Soderstrom, Rooker, McNeil, Wilson, Butler, Max Muncy at third. That's going to be a battle between him, Andy Ibanez, and Hernandez, the minor leaguer. Had some time in the major leagues too. And then Denzel Clark, could be a sleeper breakout candidate. Really good bat speed. Already one of the best defensive center fielders, if not the best, alongside PCA in the league. Great base runner. If he can just get the bat to come along, a very similar player, in my opinion, to Pete Crow Armstrong. I think he made the catch of the season last year out there in Anaheim against the against the Angels. Really excited to see what Denzel Clark can do. He had an injury toward the end of last season, missed a good chunk of the end of the season. He's a name to watch too. Looking at this lineup, Luis, I'm that's a pretty good line. That's a top tier, top 15 lineup in the league.
That's what I'm saying. But again, my problem is, and like I said, I think Nick Kurtz can be the best first baseman. I think Shea Langoliers can be the best catcher. And I think Brent Rooker can easily be the best DH, not named Shohei Ohtani this season. I can see all those three being headlining those spots. I can see the world. The thing is, it's us projecting if we take that next step. Are they improving? Will they improve? The thing is, baseball and life is not linear. Life doesn't go like this. Life is all ups and downs, just like baseball. So my whole points is that, yes, could this team compete with the Mariners and give them a run for the money, 100%? But could they also be right there with the Angels? They could too, because Nick Kurtz could not improve and he could regress a little bit. Jacob Wilson, he is the batting average demon on this team. He may do that. Injuries could occur, and then the pitching could not. They could be they just don't have the pitching, and I think that's always been the question with the A's in that little league ballpark they have out there. It's the pitching. I mean, it's a hard place to pitch because of the dimensions, and not many players want to go pitch there. So you're going to have to overpay. So that's my biggest problem with the A's. And I'm for this team. They are my trendy pick this year. They have the pedigree with all these first rounders. It's just I have to see them take that step, and that's where we can't start projecting this team to be a wild card team without seeing them take the necessary steps.
Their payroll in 2022, luxury tax payroll, was $68 million. It's up to $145 heading into the season this year. So
good.
I know it's good. They leave Oakland and they're like, all right, we're going to start spending money on the pitching rotation. We haven't mentioned what it actually is. Right now, Fangraphs has it as Luis Severino, Jeff Springs, Aaron Savale, manager Mark Kotze said those will be the top three. And then four-guy Jacob Lopez as of now. You also have Luis Morales in the mix. They also have a couple top prospects, pitching prospects, two top 100 guys, according to Keith Law. Left-hander Gage Jump, their second-round pick in 24 from LSU, and then also Jamie Arnold, the number 43 overall prospect, according to Keith Law. Could see both of them this season. They also have Leo DeVries. Keith Law has him as the number 13 overall prospect in all of baseball. He's the shortstop, came over in the Mason Miller trade. Law lists him as the most significant prospect to be traded in ages, probably since Will Myers being traded in December of 2012. The only knock on DeVries is maybe the defense took a step back a little bit last season, and he could maybe slot over to second, but he could still hold at short. It's the most top 100 guys they've had since 2020, when they had Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puck, and Sean Murphy. All of them they traded away, of course. Interestingly enough, I don't think they'll trade any of these guys now. They're actually trying to win when they go to Vegas. On the park factor, you talk about how everyone's talking about the A's as like a breakout team, but with the caveat of what is the pitching. I think there is a world in which maybe it's just really hard to pitch at this stadium in Sacramento. In terms of park factor last season, looking at Baseball Savant, they were second in park factor behind Colorado. Notoriously impossible to pitch at, 115 park factor. Second was the A's, Sutter Health Park, 108 park factor. So they were right there as one of the toughest places to pitch in. I just don't know if it's possible to be a good pitcher in this stadium, and maybe it's just waiting to get to Vegas.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we can't fall in love with potential with this team. Again, it's like in a lot of times you want to fall in love with potential, and you want to, get too carried away. We can't get too carried away. We have to look at the things how they are, black and white here. And it's a good team. They could have some of the best players in the sport, but again, that is potential. Right now, projecting it, they're a really good ball club, and they'll give a lot of teams a run for their money.
On some random notes, Bob Melvin has reunited. He's going to be joining the front office as a special assistant, so some nostalgia there. And I don't know if you've heard of their, according to Keith Law, number 20 overall prospect, Shotaro Mori. He's a two-way guy, shortstop and right-handed pitcher, skipping NPB. He is Japanese. He's 19, wants to be a two-way player. Seems like he's a decent pitcher, decent hitter, could be like a utility player when he comes up, maybe more of a reliever. But they do have a guy in their system that is a two-way Japanese player. It's not Ohtani, but I thought that was kind of interesting. It's a name to watch. They have some good prospects. And looking at this top prospect list for the A's, it's like almost outside of DeVry, it's like all pitchers. So that is a good thing for A's fans.
That's what they need.
That's what they need. Yeah, they got some pitchers in that Mason Miller trade too.
That's what they need. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, could Severino? I mean, Severino is the linchpin, and so I mean, we know what Luis Severino is. He's a number 3 guy in this league.
Yeah, Zack Gelof coming back hopefully from injury. He got shoulder surgery in September. Hopefully he's good. Was not good last season. I also think if we really want to nitpick this team and like, okay, are they playoffs? The bullpen is terrible. It's one of the worst pens.
Mark Leiter Jr. is pitching for them, and we know the Mark Leiter Jr. experience.
Yeah, I don't want that experience. Yankee fans do not want that experience anymore.
A rough bullpen.
Rough rotation. Like the offense is going to have to carry them. And you look at their numbers last year, like 5th in average, 8th in OPS, 7th in homers. But all of the pitching numbers are terrible. 27th in starting pitching ERA, 24th in bullpen ERA, 29th in bullpen walks per 9. Even the defense wasn't good last year. 22nd in outs above average as a team. 24th in defensive rating. Jacob Wilson, not the best defensive shortstop. There's concerns with this team, as any team. But if we really want to look at them as a playoff contender, it's a wild card team at best, in my opinion.
You know what I kind of wish they did?
What's that?
I kind of wish they took a flyer on one of these like top end starting pitchers, trying to rebuild the value, like a Zack Gallen. I know Zack Gallen had the comp pick issue that you had to like surrender draft pick compensation if they would have signed him, but I kind of wish they kind of took a flyer on it and just seeing how it would have worked out,
Yeah. Would Zack Gallen be willing to move there is the question. All that stuff.
For a lot of money, yeah. But again, rebuild the free agent value and hit the open market. But I mean, hey, I like this team a lot. I'm a big fan of Sacramento. Big fan of this team. Going to be one of my teams I'm looking forward to watching. I know I'll be chatting about him a lot with my buddy Bailey, who listens to the podcast. I know we're going to be chatting about this team a lot because there's actual legit optimism for them to make the playoffs. Because if all goes right, I think the ceiling to this team is that they can be the second best team in this division, and they can be competing in October for a wild card. Maybe if the correct matchups come out, you end up in the DS, and you see
playoff baseball in Sutter Health.
I think Major League Baseball would probably relocate them. Like, you are no longer the Sacramento Athletics. You are going back to Oakland now. Like,
I do think
Oakland would allow that, but I think like Major League Baseball would not allow that at all.
I think that's a good point. Like, MLB is probably rooting against the A's to make the playoffs because of that stadium situation. There was a point last season where there were actual conversation of what happens if the Rays and the A's make the playoffs this year, because the A's were in Steinbrenner. But I agree with your point that they could be the second best team in the division, because I just don't really think that highly of any of the teams in this division outside of the Mariners.
The thing about this division, without touching on the other teams, I think the A's have the least amount of questions as a team. I think the A's is the pitching. Yep. And I think the other question is with the A's is that do their players develop? It's not like, their players they don't know who's playing. It's that, does this player become, an MVP candidate, or this player is just a really good ball player?
Right. That's true. Like, what's Nick Kurtz' ceiling? Is it an MVP caliber ceiling, or is it just a perennial all-star? Like, we feel pretty solid about him being a top 5 first baseman in the league moving forward.
Same
Jacob Wilson. Same thing with Shea Langoliers. Jacob Wilson, feel pretty good about him being one of the best hit for average guys, hit tool guys in the league, which I think both of us agree. We still think there's value in that when you put that player in the context of a team that's actually good. Like, if Wilson was on the Rockies, he's kind of useless. But now that he's on a good team with Kurtz, Soderstrom, all the guys surrounding him in the lineup, I think he's valuable. I think, when you have those power bats, it's good to complement them with a bat like Jacob Wilson. We saw it with Ernie freaking Clement in the playoffs last season. Had 30 hits. All-time record. He's just more of a contact type of guy. So Wilson's fun to watch. It's like kind of like a Luis Ariz.
Denzel Clark. Could Denzel Clark be a speedy, toolsy player, or he's just a good fourth outfielder?
I could watch him play center field all day.
That's what I'm saying. Could a good fourth outfielder, good fourth defensive outfielder. That's right now what he is.
Like a Jackie Bradley Jr. type guy, even though that's probably not the best comp. But
Jackie, Lorenzo Cain, maybe he becomes Lorenzo Cain.
I feel like that's You
don't think Lorenzo Cain is a good one?
World Series champion.
But you don't think Lorenzo Cain's a good comp? I mean,
what about like Kevin Kiermaier? I feel like that's a better comp.
Why not Lorenzo Cain?
Because Lorenzo Cain was a much better hitter. Like in 2015, the year they won the World Series, the dude hit 307 with a 125 OPS plus, won a bunch of MVP, third in MVP voting that season. Like the bat was less of a question with him. And then Jackie, I feel like how many Gold Gloves did he win? Only one Gold Glove.
Better not. Jason Hayward, Dexter Fowler types.
I think like a good comp is Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier, if you look at the numbers, I think outs above average. He was like the best defensive center fielder in this league, like a good chunk. He won 4 Gold Gloves. I think he's like that. I also think he's like a PCA mold. Heading into last season, we had no idea what we were going to get from PCA at the plate. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, this guy's an MVP candidate in the first half. Fell off a cliff in the second half. But if Clark gets that back going, he's already got the fundamental skill of elite defense, really good speed. He's a fun guy to watch. I have him as a sleeper player this year.
You don't like Dexter Fowler comp? I'm looking at the Dexter Fowler stats.
Another World Series champion.
He was an All-Star too.
Yeah.
In 2016. I mean, he played. Where's outs above average? It doesn't come up on mine, but I think that's
on Savant.
I'm not on Savant. I'm on. He finished third in 2015 as putouts as a center fielder and outs made in 2015, and 7th.
Yeah, he was good.
That's what I'm saying. So.
All right, that was the A's. Oh, 75 and a half. We didn't do the pick. 75 and a half.
Yeah. Oh, give me the over. I like the A's.
Yeah,
I think they're way better than teams in this division, and I do feel like they'll be able to put up runs. And I think at the end of the day, the runs matter.
Yeah, I got them at the floor is like 80 wins, I think. So I have a comfortable over with the A's, 75 and a half. That's all we got for the A's. Tomorrow we're going to the Rays. I believe it is going down to Tampa. They have their stadium back this season. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed enough, we'll see you tomorrow, I guess. Thanks for listening.